Sims went from 24 agents, we're down to like 9 agents.
The form of teams and how we do business needs to shift and evolve as well. It truly does.
Lead generation and opportunity cost lost. This is what people don't understand and know about real estate.
Had students go from 5 deals to 27 deals in their first year.
Here's what I know about buyers. They're your future listings. The average person stays in a home 2.5 years now.
You wanted it, you got it. Sims, coaching systems, OnlyFans.
All right. Hey, boys, been a minute. Good to see you.
Been a minute. It's been since April. It's been a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
Like
has it
April.
Has it been that long? Holy. Yeah. Well, it's good to be back. And we've got a lot to bring you guys up to speed on since April. We've been working on a lot of things, a lot of life changes. Joe's drinking on the job right now. We just found that out. So
this episode is brought to you by Don Julio, a sophisticated taste for a sophisticated gentleman.
Apparently, he didn't read our policy manual.
Well, oddly enough, I wrote the policy manual. So there's an asterisk on it when it says all team members. And look at the bottom, it says accept.
I love it. Ryan, my man, good to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, man. I'm here. I'm present.
You are present.
I'm ready to go.
And you got a list of questions.
Oh,
you got
man.
things you want to cover. Ryan's coming in with some organized thoughts. So let's do it. Let's get right into it.
Inquiring minds want to know.
We're going to be here for a while, boys. So buckle up. Joe's already got
Well,
a
buckle
drink.
up.
He's ready
A lot
to
of
go.
life changes happening.
You might want to drink halfway through. Who knows?
I'm drinking water, just so people know this is water.
All right, man. So it's been since like last April.
Yeah, April.
Speaking to the mic, Mike.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan. Yeah, perfect.
Rookie.
It's been since last April. I know, we were doing a podcast like for a long time there, once a week, right?
2 years. We do one once a week.
Yeah, once a week. So I think we're changing gears a little bit, once
New
a
name
month.
for this. The High Performance Podcast.
Yeah, I love it.
High Performance Method Podcast. I don't know. We'll figure it out by
We'll
the
take
time
a
this
vote.
airs.
We'll take a
Yeah,
vote.
we'll take a vote.
Yeah.
Ryan, let me see your paper.
No,
I haven't even
I'm
prepped for
going
this.
through the paper.
Well, can I see it?
You just sit back.
I
and
wanna look
relax.
at it.
You can't look at it. These are all surprise questions.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, I've had
Just
zero
keep
prep
us in
time,
mind.
so this
We
is
got
good.
don't need
infighting.
to
We
prep.
got alcoholism. All we need now is a gambling addiction. And I think we got the trifecta.
So this
the
is gonna-
podcast is back.
Yeah, this is going to be our longest podcast ever. It's going to be amazing. We're going to do once a month. Nice and simple. Okay?
All right.
So,
What do you got?
There's the new
man,
format.
Let's talk about where you guys have been. What have you been doing? What's new? What's exciting? What's been happening? It's been since April, Jay, since you've been on the podcast. Actually, before that.
I think it was like March.
Yeah, March. Joe and I did the last one, and you were away. So what's been going on, man?
What a year for me. Holy. Wow. Okay. Well, major life changes happening for me. So my soon-to-be ex-wife and I are no longer together. We're keeping good communication. We have amazing kids. No regrets. 10.5 years. So obviously never easy when you're going through a transition like that. That's been an adjustment. But I've got a new place now that I'm settling into. So, I'm renting a home for the first time in a long time. I mean, I own 4 properties, but, when you're going through divorce, probably not a good idea to go buy anything else. You kind of need to settle the dust on that. So working through those life changes, if anybody's been through it, it's not easy. Some hard emotions that can come up, especially when you have kids involved. And, I've got a new partner that I've been recently dating the last couple of months.
And how does he feel about the movie?
She's awesome. She's really somebody that I actually had a really great friendship with for a long time before, and just it's been nice to be able to just have a great friendship with somebody, and that's just blossomed into a really great relationship. So that's cool. I've actually gotten closer with my kids too, which has been really nice. Getting that 1 week on, 1 week off. So that week that I have my kids, I really get to lean into the relationship with them. And, there is something nice about like not having to worry about every little thing that you do wrong in your house or in the kitchen. You can really focus in on just connecting and enjoying moments with your kids and those extra cuddles in the morning, and learning how to do laundry after not doing it for a long time. I had some brand new clothes that I just purchased and put them through the dryer. Well, I found out real quick that those became crop tops. So I guess you can't put certain clothes through the dryer. I didn't know this. So things that I'm learning, but I've gotten better. I know how to do laundry. I hang my clothes to dry it now. That's been something I've learned. So yeah, lots of new domesticated things in my world that I'm learning.
Well, it's good to see you happy. I mean, it's that's the thing, the beautiful thing about separation and divorce is you actually get half your life back. because you don't have to be a dad like half the time. So I kind of found that was awesome. I got a ton of my time back. And I also found that, and I'm not advocating for divorce. I'm just saying there's a bright side. And I think you get to rediscover who you are. And what I found, I've given this advice to a lot of people, where you actually, your quality of time increases with your kids. Not your quantity, but your quality.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's finite, you make every single minute count. So,
I agree.
yeah,
with
man,
that.
good for you. You look happy. You look healthy.
Yeah, I've been staying in the gym. I've been working out. I've been putting on a bit of muscle, which has been great. Keeping my fitness a standard. I've done some travel, which is great. It's a passion of mine. You know, I've worked my whole life to be in a position where I want to be able to travel. So I've been able to do that. Checked out some new places. Like, have you guys ever been to Desolation Sound?
I have
not.
It is the most beautiful place I've ever been to. It's right here in the Pacific Northwest. It's where a lot of, millionaires go, I guess, that have yachts, and they go out there, and it's incredible, like visually stimulating, beautiful. The weather was perfect for the 4 days that we were there. It was just amazing. I highly, highly recommend Desolation Sound to anybody. If you've never been there, check it out. It is incredible. So yeah, I got to do that this summer, which was amazing.
Man, I have a buddy that I water ski with. He's on Brennan Lake. He's got similar water skiing boat like mine. It's designed for the lake.
Yeah.
That's what it's designed for. This guy is like 72, water skis every day, super fit, climbs a rope in his backyard every day. Like, he's insane, right? Dude, he took his water skiing boat and drove it to Desolation Sound.
That's awesome. I love that.
He also drove it from Nanaimo to Vancouver and back.
Just because?
Is absolutely insane when you really think about it. If you've ever been on a fishing boat, it's just like boom, boom. Like, imagine being in a sports car going 100 over speed bumps.
Yeah. It'd be
Like,
rough.
just lined up.
Man, this guy's a machine.
Oh, yeah. He's an
that.
absolute machine.
Joel, what's new with you? Let's start with you.
Nothing, man. That's the thing. Like, nothing.
No, there's a lot going on in your life.
No, seriously. Like, I got nothing going on. Kids are good.
You got kids that
Yeah,
are
two
in grade 11?
Yeah, grade 11. Well, so do you, right? It's so that's interesting. So Jackson's on the football team. Claire's doing her thing, hopefully pulling straight A's. I'll be happy.
She's got a little boyfriend, doesn't she?
She's got a boyfriend, super
She's
nice
like
kid.
Doing the domesticated stuff a
Yep.
little.
Yeah, she bakes banana bread. So that was,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, kids are good. I mean, life just keeps on ticking, man. So yeah, I'm good.
How's Jen?
Jen's great. She's again still working at the bank, doing her credit adjudication thing, and yeah, like I said, man, really, I got nothing. I wish I had something exciting, but I got nothing.
Oh man,
Well,
I got nothing.
Joe does have one thing exciting.
What's that?
He's going to learn how to wrap a roof of a car.
No, you're learning how to wrap the roof of a car. I'm not wrapping nothing, man. I can wrap one thing, and it's not.
Joe, I hear you've been on your motorcycle a few times.
Yeah, so put a lot of kilometers on, and I think I put about 3,500 kilometers on this year. So with the summer,
Wow.
ended up doing that Spirit Quest, went all through the interior, and yeah, man, just kind of went through some life changes as well. And for me, it was just I fell back. I've kind of like almost sold almost everything that I own. Like, all my baseball cards are mostly gone. I actually sold most of my clothes, sold a lot of my shoes, and just kind of like shrunk my life down and put everything I had sort of into my motorcycle. And that's been it, man. My passion has been riding. So kind of I've always had the passion for it, but I just found it like it has been so amplified over the last few months. Just kind of had some things happen that made me kind of appreciate the life that I have and my health. And so for me, like, a big piece of it was just getting back on the open road. And
Ryan, what's new with you, man?
Not much, man.
water ski champion, man. You were skiing last night until the dark.
Yeah, I've been water skiing, getting ready for hunting season, spend time with the kids. I know we got to connect a couple weeks ago and take kids fishing.
That was so fun.
Yeah, just doing a lot of stuff like that. I went to Sprout Lake last Saturday.
Which is the most beautiful lake in the world.
Yeah.
I love Sprout. I had a Sprout Lake day with my kids this summer too.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, hey?
The water it's something else. Like, just crystal clear. You go, you can park. Like, there's so many different channels. I threw the goggles on, was swimming underwater, like, could just see everything, like trees falling down that had been there for years and years and years.
You see any fish?
Yeah. We saw
Trout,
I saw lots
bass?
of fish. Yeah, a couple trout, a couple bass.
You saw bass in Sprout Lake?
While I was swimming, dude. Yeah.
There's bass in Sprout Lake. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought there would only be like
Yeah, I actually
trout
didn't
and maybe
know
salmon.
what fish were in Sprout Lake. So I chat GPT'd it, and it told me there's like 6 or 7 different species of fish.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I went out there. My buddy Garrett's got a sweet place. He'd been on the waiting list for like 5 or 6 years to get a spot there. He told me I should put my name in. Said by the time my kids are in grade 12, which is like 10 years away,
You got a ways
I
to
should
go,
be
man.
able to get in.
That's crazy.
But beautiful spot, right? Locked, right on the lake. Have the boat right there. I really wanted to ski, but it was just like there was a million boats out there. It was like one of the last. It's funny. On Saturday, Sunday, it was super hot. Monday hit, boom, back to cold.
Yeah, it's nice when Mother Nature cooperates with 9-to-5ers schedule. Hey, it makes things a little easier.
7 to 3, 9 to 5, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, totally, man. It was. It's been a good summer. Had a lot of fun, and just looking forward to kind of finishing out the year with a bang. What's new on the real estate side? What's been going on over there? What's new with Sims?
Okay, well, Sims went from 24 agents. We're down to like 9 agents now and 3 licensed inside sales agents, which is exactly where we need to be. We did some expansion last year, and then we kind of pulled it back to kind of what Sims was built on, which honestly has been a really good move overall. It's been really positive. We leaned out, trimmed some fat where we needed to and some things, and feel really, really positive about that. We've had actually a really consistent year overall. Like it's been pretty good. We're not far off pace with less agents than we were last year, same time. So that's good. So I feel really optimistic about that. I'm starting to work more closely in the real estate team again, just because it's always been a passion of mine, and I'm excited to work with that. I've been working with our client care team. We've made a shift in technology partners for first time in a long time. So we still use Real Geeks. We're still going to be with Real Geeks, but we're working with Lofty. Lofty's a great site. There's a lot of amazing technologies that they have, and our guys have been saying, listen, we want to really work with this, and they've got some really cool integration. So that's something new on the real estate side. And just changes in philosophy with our coaching students, which has been really, really good too. I think we've made some shifts there. Our high performance method program has been awesome. Like we really are making a massive impact with the people that are really leaning into it and implementing. So that's been good. Yeah.
Nice. What are your thoughts, Joe? I know you spend a lot of time on the real estate side.
I do.
A little bit of time on the coaching side.
Yeah, bigger isn't always better. And one thing, that's something I think that's been echoed all across North America for anybody who had a large team. I think in the last 12 to 18 months, a lot of team leaders have been humbled. People who had these big desires of these grandiose teams ended up carrying this giant nut. And then as soon as interest rates started just getting a little bit painful, as soon as the market started shifting, people were sitting on these massive monthly nuts. And I think a lot of teams in North America have actually, not that anybody's shrunk to greatness, but I think that a lot of people are realizing that kind of the next wave of real estate is actually not these ginormous teams. It's smaller teams that focus on people, culture, and the agent experience. I think if you can nail people, culture, agent experience, those are the teams that are going to succeed. Small, lean, mean, well-trained assassins, not these big, bulky teams that are just sort of like moving in masses anymore. Yeah. That's what I found.
Yeah. I mean, if you lifted the hood up from a lot of these teams, you'd realize that the ones that are profitable, it's because the team leader's in production selling houses in a lot of cases. Usually the rest of the team doesn't stand on its own. And if it does, it makes very, very little money. And a lot of it is just smoke and mirrors and ego. So when you strip that all away, definitely, a leaner, meaner business makes more sense, right? Sticking to your values as a company, your culture, like what made you successful. And yeah, bigger isn't always better. And there's exceptions. There's definitely some big mega teams out there that like have massive amounts of agents and, it's working for them. Kudos, but they're a small percentage. And I'm not saying that you can't succeed doing that, because you can. Right. But it's not a high percentage of people that actually make it there.
I think too, a lot of the larger teams, when you look at like the graphic of agents that are on the team, it's, you've got a couple senior people, like you mentioned, team leaders still in production, but then you've got, half a dozen agents that are part-time.
Yeah. Part-time agents or
agents. So
struggling to even make a living, have to have other jobs.
And puts more pressure on the team leader to increase production, try to continue to get more leads. And then what ends up happening is these team leaders are spending a ton of money on lead generation, and these part-time agents are really
lead generation
converting.
and opportunity cost lost.
That's
See, this is
huge.
what people
Absolutely.
don't understand and know about real estate. These agents that you bring on, they're not going to close at the same rate that you will as a team leader, not even close. They're going to need a lot of hand holding. There's a lot of time and energy that goes into putting those deals together, which takes you away from what you're doing. And so what happens is a lot of team leaders actually start losing money or going like making less once they start trying to put their energy focusing on these teams. Mm-hmm. So one of the concepts that I'm working on with a lot of my students that I work on is like creating more of like the surgeon and the registered nurse business, where you're the surgeon of your business. You're involved in the negotiations. You're involved in the consultations. You are checking in on patient care, but you have quality salary plus bonus agents that are licensed, that are working with your clients, doing a lot of the showings, that are involved in some of those initial consultations, that can do some of the client research. That way you can stay in a more specialized roles. You can have better margin doing it that way too, which is really important, right? Because you're not just giving up 50% or 70%, whatever it is that people are doing splits wise. You can offer a competitive salary. You can offer bonus structures, 10%, 15%, 20%, but you have more margin built in. So building more of a high performance practice like that is working really, really well. Like we're seeing some really big successes with some of the students that we're working, developing that. And what it's doing is it's allowing them to create more of a 9-to-5 business, something that they can take vacations from. Because a lot of agents struggle to go on vacation.
Totally. I talk to 3 to 5 agents a day minimum, right? And I think, you know, when you look at one of the biggest areas that people are looking to improve in is consistency.
Yep.
Right. And real estate can be an amazing business if you know how to build it properly and you have the right foundation, right, have the right skills, and you can essentially convert leads to appointments, which appointments to paper, right? But one thing that's really cool about that way of running a business is that you are now training 2 people to be like extremely trained assassins. They have the comfortability of having a wage. So the stability for them is better.
Yep.
They're less stressed.
Yep.
So performance level goes up.
Yep.
Right. And more importantly, they're able to actually assist that team leader and also increase the performance of the team leader, because team leader's not stuck running thin, wearing every hat. So it's a really cool concept.
Honestly, some of the most loyal people that I've seen are people that are salary bonus structured, right? Like they're where you can provide that stability and security. Those have been some of the most loyal people that I have. I mean, I think about you guys have been awesome. You know, I think about Paige and other people that have been around. Like that's the type of situation that they've had, and that's worked out well. Whereas like sometimes when you're dealing with like contractors that are just on commission, there's like an entitlement mentality. I don't know how, maybe it's a little different, but that can be frustrating. So if you could create something where you can help people with the most scary part of real estate, which is like not having certainty, and you can create a little more certainty for them, you'd be amazed at the upside that you could have, right? There's a lot of people that for them, hey, like having that stability and security is really important to them. And it allows them to be able to have predictability around their lifestyle and the things that they need. So yeah, I think for team leaders, looking at running your business a little differently than just doing the 50-50 model or what you've seen out there, I think there's a more profitable way to run it. Because if think about it, if I was running a plastic surgery clinic, I wouldn't be doing the front reception. I wouldn't be doing the nurse work, right? I would be focused on what? Performing surgery, which in our business is writing contracts. I would be doing marketing, right, to drive more clients through the doors. I would be doing patient follow-ups, so check-ins on patients to see how they're doing, right? Doing consultations, which in our business is, you know, your listing appointment or your buyer consultations. You spend your time doing those things, you're going to be very successful, right? And then when you have people that are exceptional at the people side of things, at providing a great client experience, that are working with you hand in hand on those client files, you can manage more clients and provide better service. Because when I go to the hospital, I don't want to spend the day with the doctor. I want to spend the day with the nurse, right? Like that's who I want taking after me because they're a lot nicer to deal with, right?
I hope your new girlfriend doesn't hear this.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying though, right?
Wanting to go spend time with the
Yeah,
nurses.
I think again, when you look at the real estate landscape has shifted, It truly has. So the form of teams and how we do business needs to shift and evolve as well. It truly does. And I think that next evolution is a specialist role.
Yes.
I truly do. And as I mentioned, they are smaller, intimate teams, different salary structures, and it is just highly trained, highly skilled specialists.
Yes.
Whether it's like, again, because I would consider a nurse a specialist.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would consider a doctor a specialist. I consider the receptionist a specialist. So it is just small, defined roles with creative salary and bonus structures.
Yeah. Because listen, not everybody wants to have the pressure of having to be the surgeon.
Right.
There's some people that are like, I love being a supporter. I love being the number 2. And you can make a lot of money being a good number 2 or a number 3, right? Michael Jordan has 2 other Hall of Famers that played on his team with him. They weren't even the best player on the team, but they're in the Hall of Fame, right? Scottie Pippen, best number 2 in history. Dennis Rodman, best defender in history, played key specialist roles on the team, right? All in the Hall of Fame. So again, if you can strip away ego and you start really looking at like what makes a high performance team, it's not one person. It's a system, right? It's everybody playing key specialized roles, right? And certain roles are going to be more important at different times in the transaction. Right. But it's not that one person's necessarily better than the other, right? Like a quarterback on a football team is a very big role. It's the most important role in the offense, right? Like it's the one role that you can't mess up, but he can't play without an offensive line in front of him blocking. He's got to make sure he has people that can catch the ball, that can run the ball too. He can't do everything himself. So as important as that role is where you're the team leader, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. So it's important that you find good quality people. And if you can help solve their biggest problem, which is having stability and security in an industry that lacks that, you'll find loyalty and you'll find good people that will work with you, and you'll be able to help them make a nice living where they can go and boat with their family on their time off and things like that, but ultimately provide a great client experience.
Right.
And that's really what it's about.
What do you think, like with your students right now? Because we have a small selection of people that you're working with.
Yep.
Like the traditional model being a 50-50 split, and having a team leader that's still in production with the goal of potentially getting out. And I know we've had so many discussions around how that is really like an old school model.
Yeah.
It's really not conducive to the way real estate is done now.
Yeah.
It's hard because when you're riding the waves of the market, like there's a lot of vulnerability inside of your business, right? And you end up having to, use money from different areas to facilitate keeping people in their roles and keeping that team together.
Yep.
What do you think the students that you're working with right now think of this new method? Like, are any of those students actively pursuing that method? Like, are you working with any of them?
Yeah. Actually, I have a few students that we're at various stages of working this model, but I can think of one right now. Just had his best month he's ever had. Nice. Was almost took 2 weeks vacation during that period of time. Was able to, hit his date night every week with his wife, which is really important. He's able to make time to hit his fitness goals, time with his kids. Like, we've literally built a system around him where he has counterbalance, and he's able to take vacations and still have his business produce. And it's been really cool. But what he's done is he's found the right-hand person that's licensed, salary plus bonus. They work together on client files. They're doing the consultations. But now all of a sudden he's not having to be out there showing properties on the weekend or in the evenings, right? So he's able to free up his time. He's able to now use that time to go generate more listings and generate more marketing and do some of the things that maybe in the past he wouldn't have done. And so he's able to handle more clients. He's more profitable, and he's able to kind of turn it off a little bit more now too, right? Where it's like, okay, 5 o'clock hits, he's able to go home and have just a normal life. Because I see a lot of people who don't have proper leverage in their business burn out, and it's this negative cycle. I mean, I've got one student that I've just started working with, and she's doing $600,000-700,000 a year in GCI, which is incredible numbers. But she's not that happy. Right. She's really like, she gets burnt out, she gets stressed out, and it's just her. She's running everything. And then when we really think about her client experience, it's super reactive. Like, she's not giving great service. Like, let's be honest, she's a great person and she's a good agent when she works with somebody, but she's just cherry picking whatever the gravy is at the top. But there's a lot of people that aren't being followed up with properly, that aren't getting the world-class experience they could. And it just comes at a cost as well, which is her marriage is probably not as strong as it could be. I mean, her husband probably has to roll his eyes all the time because she's never present, because she's always busy. Kids, I mean, they're a bit older now, right? But like still, she's probably not able to get as much time with her kids. What is she doing for herself? She's not going to the gym. She's not going and doing her hobbies because she's not able to. She took 100%. A vacation, and she took a vacation this summer for a week, and she was stressed the whole time. The entire time, because she literally had so many problems that she had to solve.
Right.
And guess what? Her spouse probably was like, oh my God, rolled his eyes.
Here we go again.
And I know, because I did that to my spouse for 3.5 years when I was in production and I was working 7 days a week, guys. The reason why I have so much counterbalance now, and I've probably gone the extreme way, is because for 3.5 years, it was insane. Like I was just nonstop 24/7 on the go. And like, my kids were there, but I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like I was right there, but I wasn't. And the same thing with my spouse and everything else. So definitely think that there is a better way to build a business, for sure. Yeah. And if you play the long game and you really think about, hey, how do I deliver an outstanding experience? And how do I find people that can balance out the experience? For example, the registered nurse, right? Well, that's your buyer specialist. That could be your buyer specialist.
Right.
You could have a listing specialist. You could have a listing transaction coordinator that handles your listings and works your buyer files, but like somebody whose role is that, right? So once you sort of figure out how to leverage your business the right way and what that looks like, then all of a sudden you can start thinking of more creative ways that you can incentivize people to work with you. And stability and security is one thing that I've learned that is very important to most people.
Absolutely, man. Well, for anyone out there listening that is interested in hearing more about this and how it works, just reach out to us, info@simscoachingsystems.com. We're doing a small amount of people that we work with closely. Can you not hear me?
No.
Touch my microphone.
Yeah, you got to talk right into it.
So small amount of people
Don't look away from it.
that we work with closely. Well, I got to move here, but small amount of people we work with closely. We've got our high performance method, but we've been working on something in the background for close to 2 months.
Months, man.
Doing it totally different than what we've done in the past, right? Like really great audio, really great camera quality, really well thought out.
Well, I'd say all of our stuff is really thought out. So
yeah, it's really thought out, but I'm like a perfectionist when it comes to some of this stuff. You guys know that. I also don't like cables, so this cable's killing me right now. But anyways, something really cool that we have launching mid-September, late September, is we are opening up something that will allow us to help a lot of agents. So let's talk about that. Joe, you want to talk about?
You wanted it, you got it. Sims Coaching Systems OnlyFans. It is available. See, you're laughing, but let me just break it down to you, man, because this is what it is.
We're selling Jason's toenails.
Oh, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
Stuff.
Okay. Sims After Dark. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually on a platform called School, Skool. And the beautiful thing is Alex Hormozy's involved. And again, anything Alex Hormozy touches, I'm all over. The guy's an entrepreneurial genius as far as I'm concerned. So he's behind a platform called School. And again, I was sort of joking around, but the only way I can really describe it is OnlyFans for professionals. So what it is you find somebody who you want to learn from, that inspires you, somebody who's best practices you want to put in place. You can follow them. And every month there is new content. There is masterminds. Our whole Agent Academy has been boiled down to these bite-sized chunks that is available on this platform called School. We are going to be running between 1 and 2 scripting and mastermind calls every single week. So it is group-based. And the beautiful part about this, it is for an insanely low subscription fee. Now, the reason we chose this platform is we acknowledge a lot. I wish we could help everybody we talk to.
Oh, man.
I truly do.
Absolutely.
And I look at it, and a lot of the people we talk to do end up joining us in some capacity or another. But I lose sleep over the lives that we weren't able to touch. And this is a low-cost opportunity for those people to still be in those rooms, to still be, I don't want to say motivated, but inspired, to still learn those processes that are built around structure and discipline and kind of the new way of transacting, of not being a salesperson, but being that trusted advisor. So we are going to be opening school up very, very soon. So stay tuned to that. It'll have a very low subscription fee. I wouldn't doubt a lot of our students are actually going to take advantage of that, plus our high performance agent academy, plus some of the other coaching offerings that we have. We haven't set a price on it yet, so you can hit us up to ask more about it. But look for that. It is going to be freaking awesome. This is the part, boys, where we start touching lives that maybe people thought that what we put out there was too unattainable. Those people that truly are like, well, I'm still a year away from writing my exam. This is where you can start learning now.
Yeah,
I'm pumped. Pumped.
I'm excited too because, well, I bring on a lot of our new students, right? And there's so many people that I talk to that have been going through divorce or vice versa, or have been in real estate for 30 years. Started out rock bottom, single mama too, and got into real estate to change your life. And 30 years down the road, well, guess what? Real estate has changed significantly, right? In the last 8 years specifically, these type of people have noticed that their business has not come as easy as it used to, right? Bigger influx of agents. Also, people haven't adapted. People not adapting. Also, agents that are coming into the market now, ones that are getting skills training and are focusing.
It's a skills-based market out there.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Like, this is the most skills-based market that you're going to find, and it's here. It's not going anywhere. So if you're an agent who has finally been exposed, unfortunately, because you didn't work on your skills, your systems, your processes, your dialogues, and you didn't treat this like an actual craft that you need to work on and improve, I hate to say it, but you're going to be left behind. The people that are going to do exceptionally well are going to be the ones that have the systems, the skills, and the process, and really treat this like a professional craft. If you're an elite athlete, you're practicing your skills. You're 100%. Developing all the time, right? You have mentorship and coaches that are helping you because they can see things that you don't see. Through school, we're going to open up the hood to exactly what it is that we do so that you can get in there for a very affordable cost, and you're going to be able to really level up in your business. And one thing I'll tell you is information that you learn is yours forever. I have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars learning and being mentored by some incredible coaches and mentors, and continue to spend money on mentorship. And it's helped us make millions. Okay. It has really helped change my life. I wouldn't be able to do the things that I've done if I didn't have mentors, if I didn't get coaching, if I didn't invest in myself. Right. So for people that are on the sidelines of life and just still like in their own way because they're afraid to make a decision, it's like, guys, you have to be willing to go all in on you. Because if you won't go all in on yourself, nobody else will. Nobody else will. And I'll tell you right now, you'll be stuck exactly where you are right now if you don't make the leap to just go all in on you. That's the best thing I ever did for me, was invest in myself.
Right.
Honestly. All the stocks that I could have invested in, all the investments that I've done, all the real estate deals, investing in me was the best thing that I did, because that knowledge is permanent. You can't undo it. Ryan, think about your growth the last 2 years, right? Like just constantly working on yourself and really like developing your craft. What was the one thing I told you when you came in? I was like, Ryan, I want you to like become a master of your craft. Learn it, like study it, become a master. You've been doing that for 2 years and you're getting so much better and better and better. And like, think about that, like stuff that can translate into your life going forwards.
Yeah. It's funny. I was just telling Joe this other day, our skills training classes, like I typically wouldn't come to those, right? I'm not selling real estate. I'm not a licensed agent. Like, why would I come to the skills training classes in my mind? Right. And, I'd show up once in a while and just check it out. But I was doing sales calls. I was trying to, connect with people. I was calling leads, and I was missing one of the biggest pieces. And I think it was while you were away. Joe's like, dude, start coming to the scripting calls. So I started coming, and I'm going to tell you right now, man, I was extremely uncomfortable because all the people that are in these calls are looking at me like I should know all this stuff because I literally got them into the program. I was the advisor that made the recommendation for them to join us. Right. So for me, it was really, really uncomfortable. For some people that are brand new in real estate, they could feel like it's very uncomfortable for them too. They've never done it before.
I took it easy on you though.
Yeah. Bullshit. Joe every day said, okay, you guys, I'm going to show you something unbelievable right at the end of the call when it's like, okay, we're all supposed to be leaving. I have an appointment right after the call. Joe's like, Ryan Czinger, you're up. And he just threw me under the bus every day.
Every single day. But I will say, look at the growth, man. Like look at the growth.
Yeah. So
and that was like 3 weeks.
Yeah, so I can attest this. So you mentioned something about skills training. We talk about this all the time, but I want to put it like in context for people that are out there listening, that are real estate agents in the field that are trying to convert leads. I hear this all the time. The leads are horrible. My team leader gives me leads. They're garbage. Like no one wants to buy. No one wants to sell, right? And when I talk to a lot of agents, I'll ask them, hey, would you mind doing a role play? I'd love to hear how you're converting online leads. Because they say the leads suck and they have an abundance of them, but they're not converting them. They're looking for this thing called a qualified lead. Well, we all
they don't
know.
understand that you qualify the lead.
Yeah, it
you
doesn't
create the
exist. Right?
It's
urgency.
your job, homie.
People think this because there's tons of amazing marketers out there. And, you know, I mean, you can name 50 of them right off the top of my head that literally say they will get you qualified leads. Or my favorite is the new AI thing. It's going to qualify all your leads for you.
Yeah.
It's just a tool that helps you, right?
Yeah.
But
It's an efficiency tool.
Yeah, what we see is someone, you know, that I do this with, they say instantly right away, I say, okay, we're going to do a role play. I have them call me. So I'm calling you, Jay. You pick up. Hello. Hey, my name is so-and-so from Sims Real Estate Group. I noticed that you signed up on the site. How you doing today?
Good.
Great, man. Hey, I'm just calling. I saw you sign up. Are you looking to buy or sell?
Not doing either. I was just browsing online.
Okay. What were you looking for? Are you looking to move? Like this is the level
this
of
is what we
conversation.
hear all the time.
It's crazy.
And then they wonder why their leads suck.
Are you working with an agent?
Yeah.
I love that. That's the first
Well,
question.
the leads don't
My
suck.
favorite.
The leads are amazing. It's like at the end of the day, it's your skills and your ability to open people up.
But it's not even that. It's actually your understanding of how to work the lead. So someone that signs up online, if you call them and you're a salesperson and you present yourself, are you looking to buy or sell? Are you pre-approved? Are you working with an agent? What's your general thought as the person on the other end of the phone? Your thought is, no, it's roadblock. It's the objection.
The questions are not, they feels like
Exactly.
an interrogation. It's not really.
It feels like you're a salesperson.
Yeah.
Right. Versus like that trusted advisor, right? What was it about your current home, Jay, that wasn't quite working for you that really had you exploring other options?
Yeah.
Right. Like get people connected, start having conversations. And
A good question should get somebody to open up and share things that they didn't plan to. That's what a good question does. If you want a really good interview, ask great questions.
totally.
Ask great questions. That is one of the things that we really drill in with our people is we help them develop the right questions. More importantly, though, the right processes and steps. Like what step am I in right now and where am I going next with it? Because if you're out of sequence in any sales interaction, it will throw everything off. One little thing could be off and the outcome will be dramatic. And so we do this diagnostic thing with agents all the time where we break scenarios down into processes. And through that, we're able to figure out exactly where something went wrong and fix it. So if you're an agent and you're sitting there and you're like, man, like I don't have a predictable, consistent business, you probably don't have consistent processes that you're following. You probably aren't developing and working your skills. I got to tell you, I've been jumping in on some sales calls. I hadn't done some sales calls. I've been helping out Ryan because he was on holidays for a week and Joe was, right? Summertime. So I jumped in. I was like, yeah, I'll take some sales calls. Guys, I was rusty because I haven't been practicing those skills on the coaching side, right? Like dude, I know the stuff better than anybody because I created it, right? Like this is my stuff that I use all the time. But when it came to like having a conversation with some of the people that were coming in, I'm realizing I was being rusty because I wasn't working my process. So even somebody like myself, who really I've built a career on being a lead in sales and doing really well at it, I can be rusty to a point where I'm like, man, I need to work on my craft. And so you need to practice your skills all the time. I practice my skills on the real estate side 5 days a week. Yeah. Have for years, right? Joe practices his skills. Ryan's practicing his skills. This allows us to be better coaches, better mentors. Even if we're not directly out there selling houses, I know I could go back into production and I could sell houses at a very high level in any market.
Yeah, and for me, like I've never been a top salesperson, but I've always been a trusted advisor.
There you go, Joe.
Okay, he definitely has been drinking.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's shift gears here. So we have a lot of students in Canada. We have a lot of students in the US.
Yep, we do.
So I'd love to know what are your guys' thoughts about the current market in Canada and the current market in the US?
That's a really great question. The market's actually really complicated.
Yeah, the market's complex. There's a lot of volatility, which is creating a lot of opportunity. What part of the market are you most curious about, Ryan?
So Ryan,
Wow.
what part?
You know,
Did we not just cue that up perfectly?
You just queued it right up, but I'll have to talk to D'Artagnan about that question. But no, seriously.
So here's what I'm seeing. Okay, I'll tell you what I'm
seeing.
Okay, so I'll speak in Canada first. I'm seeing that the last 2-3 years, people have been hit with severe inflation. I don't know too many people who feel wealthier right now than they did 3 years ago. I think a lot of people have been hurting. A lot of people have been holding on, but really things have started compounding. So we have kind of a domino effect. I think divorce rates are up. I think there's a lot of divorces happening right now, unfortunately. I think another thing is there's people dying, right? We've got a lot of baby boomers that are aging, and so we're going to start seeing some of them die. I hate to say that, but like we are mortal beings, so that's happening. Of course, we're also seeing people that have to sell now because they've been hanging on for 2-3 years and they just can't keep making the payments anymore. Like it's all caught up to them. And now we're seeing a flood of inventory. So for example, in our backyard here, we're seeing a lot of inventory. We're seeing a buyer's market for the first time in years. All of a sudden now there's a lot of choice. I think this is going to be a moment in time because they're aggressively starting to bring down interest rates because they're realizing, hey, inflation is not a problem now and the economy is sluggish. A lot of people aren't spending money anymore because they don't have any money to spend. The good days for a lot of people they've stopped. That tap is kind of run dry. And so now what are they going to do to try and stimulate the economy? They're going to start bringing down interest rates and make things a little more affordable, hopefully get people to start picking up again. Well, it takes time for that to take effect. So this paralysis period right now that we're in may last a year, 2 years, means that there's an incredible window of opportunity to make moves. If you're looking to buy assets on sale, I think right now is a really good time. Okay. So that's my perspective on what I'm seeing in the real estate market here in Canada. Now, there are certain markets that it's a little different, like Calgary, Edmonton, places like that. They are definitely still seeing a shortage of inventory, but they often are opposite to what's happening in other markets like in Ontario and BC. So they're kind of their own unique micro markets in that sense. But I do think that they will see some of that happening, and they're starting to see things slow down a little bit too. They're just a little bit behind, and their cycles can be a little different when it comes to real estate. In the US, there's a lot of people that are freaking out because all of a sudden now there's these buyer's agency contracts that have to be signed and this whole new law. And what about, not having to pay buyer's agents? Listen, if you're a skilled professional and you have solid processes, you will get paid on your transactions because at the end of the day, the commissions always came from the proceeds anyways, right? It's always been the case. That's still the same. There's still going to be commissions that are going to be paid on every single transaction. The key is, do you know how to negotiate for yourself? Are you able to articulate your value in a sense where you can get paid from the proceeds of the sale? Well, if you're a good agent, you're going to know how to do that. You're going to be prepared for it. The other thing is in Canada, we work on 5-year terms often. So like people will get a mortgage here in Canada and they'll have like a 5-year term. That seems to be pretty consistent. Some people do a 3-year, 4-year, maybe 10 years, but usually it's a 5-year term. So people's mortgages come up for renewal all the time. Whereas in the US, it's different. You get a mortgage there. You get that rate for the entire life of the mortgage. So if it's a 30-year mortgage, your rate is for that 30 years. So there's a lot of people in the US right now who have 2.5% mortgages, 2.39% mortgages, and they're like, I'm never selling. Because if they sell that house, now all of a sudden they're getting a 5 or 6% mortgage. So that has probably created a little bit of a paralysis in the market and maybe has kept some markets from having a flood of inventory. But in Canada, there's a lot of people here that were in variable rate mortgages and they've been holding on and struggling. I'm one of them. Like it's been tough. Like my payments went up on everything, and I own 4 different properties, investment properties and things like that were on variable debt. So yeah, it's definitely squeezed my cash flow for sure on my properties. Right. So, two different things happening in Canada and the US, but I'd say overall, I'm very optimistic though, that there is a lot of opportunity. And I think agents that are skilled and know how to have price reduction conversations, that have good systems and processes, know how to price homes correctly from the get-go, know how to go in and have tough conversations with sellers, they're going to do great. They're actually going to be just fine. This is going to be a market where, again, your skills are going to make sure you get paid.
What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I think that in Canada, the pendulum is slowly starting to swing back. I think that government spending has just been insane over the last couple of years. I'm not going to sit here and get like wax political on it, but I think that has also attributed to a lot of our inflation issues. So I think right now, yes, we are seeing quarter point drop every time that the Bank of Canada is meeting, which has been great because it's come down like almost 1% in the last like 120 days, which is phenomenal for, again, people like us that hold these mortgages. And I just look at, and my heart absolutely breaks for a lot of people who were locked into 4 and 5 year terms that took those during the pandemic. Well, hey, surprise, surprise. What's going to happen once those come back for renewal?
That's me.
I think we're almost going to see another wave of panic and another wave of paralysis. We might end up seeing a mass exodus of people dumping houses really, really quickly. Because again, nobody wants to carry like a $700,000 mortgage at, 5.25%, which again, also historically was an okay rate.
It's a good rate.
Historically, but we're just used to having these rates like just above 2%. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of confusion, which is why agents need to be skilled to handle things like, oh, I'm waiting till next spring. Right? Oh, I'm waiting till my mortgage comes up for renewal. I'm going to wait. So you need to be able to show the benefits and the pitfalls of what waiting is, as well as acting now. So skills, training, again, I can't say enough about it. And then in the US, I think that the NAR regulations definitely I don't think it changed the landscape of real estate in the US, but I think it was a big wake-up call for real estate agents. Like historically, real estate in the U.S., like what are average commission sizes?
Yeah,
like they're crazy.
You're seeing like 5-6% commission rates.
And just to give people context, what is it in our market?
In our market, it works out to less than 3% overall in the whole transaction.
Exactly. And so I think what you're seeing a lot of agents who have gotten, for lack of a better term, have gotten fat.
Yep.
And they've gotten lazy. Right? They're making a lot of money in some cases off not many transactions. So this is putting a lot of fear in place. And I think that that's going to have almost a trickle down effect to the client. The client's going to start experiencing a level of like anxiety, frustration, and scarcity because real estate agents, they now have to demonstrate value for the first time ever, as far as I'm concerned. Yep. They need to invest in those skills and be able to have those amazing conversations around their commission, which I don't think most agents are capable of.
Well, it's funny. Everybody's like, all I want to do is listings.
Oh man.
I'm like, listen, I love listings. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, but there's still massive opportunity in the buy side. Don't alienate that side of your business. That is huge opportunity because here's what I know about buyers. They're your future listings. The average person stays in a home 2.5 years now.
Yep.
So if you have a buyer heavy business, like for us, we did 70% in our first year was buyers, maybe 75%. Year 2 was like 65% buyers. Well, guess what? That led to a lot of listings over the coming years. So please, if you're somebody that's like, oh my God, I'm just going to focus only on listings, oftentimes those listings could be moving out of market. So you're only getting paid once. If you're working with buyers, you get them into a home, boom, all of a sudden 2.5 years later, a life event happens. You sell that house and get them into something else. So huge fan of still working with buyers. So anybody that's listening, believe me, it's not the end of the world at all. Like these changes are not going to affect your ability to get paid if you have the skills and the processes. And that's what we teach in our high performance academy. Our students have not missed a beat when it's come to these changes.
And I know that like just being on the calls, a lot of the students, are really scared to have the conversations. And the cool part is that we're practicing those conversations. And it's funny, they go and have them. And then we get a group text and it's like, oh, it was so easy. They didn't even care. It's like, they don't. It's just you've built up this story in your head that it's going to be really hard. And one of the things that you said where, buyers are still super important. I can't tell you how many agents I talk to that are like, I only want to do listings because they're scared of the buyer's agreement. They're scared to do it. So anyone that's listening, if you want to increase your business and you're in the US, become a buyer specialist. Like seriously, like you will get a ton of opportunities because there's a lot of people that are scared to have the conversations. They don't want to have them. Don't know what to do.
Totally. Listen, I'm a fan of both. I love listings. Don't get me wrong. But I'm also a big fan of working with buyers still too.
Yeah.
Huge opportunity.
Equate it to a well-balanced sports team. Offense plus defense.
Yep.
You cannot win a title just with one. You need to have that level of balance because when the market tries to correct itself or it adjusts, you're going to be stuck with your pants down.
Yep.
Right? Because there's a reason why it's a buyer's market, balanced, or sellers. And typically lately it's been one or the other. So find that piece out, like leverage both.
So Jay, what do you think's been the biggest surprise this year in the real estate market, running the real estate business? Like, what do you guys think? Like, you're both hands-on in there. Like, what do you think the biggest surprise has been this year in our market?
For us, it's how rapidly inventory is stacked up. It happened really quickly. We went from a seller's market to now really we're technically a buyer's market with the amount of listings. We have almost 7 months of inventory, and it happened really quick. And I think, again, it was a perfect storm of divorces going up, baby boomers, and again, with inflation, a lot of people holding on that just can't hold on anymore. They're like, they got to sell. People become practical during recessions. We're really in a recession. Let's be honest. This is what the last 2 years has been. We're in a recession. Let's just call it what it is. It's a recession. It's not reported in the news, but I'm telling you, I'm reporting it right now. I don't need to be an economist to tell you. We've been in a recession.
New news.
New news, yeah, right? So knowing that, for me, it's just how rapidly that's changed. But again, how rapidly it could change the other way. We're starting to see optimism in the market. The phones are ringing a little bit more. Interest rates are coming down. People are starting to think, hey, things are a little more affordable, right? I just recently had to pick up a rental, right? For the first time renting. I haven't rented in my adult life, but I was like, okay, I'm going to go rent a place because it kind of makes sense as I transition for the next couple of years here. It was easy to find a place. I got a place right away. Normally, you would have had like 30 people that you're applying against. I was able to get a place.
Yeah, when I rented my my house, my other house out, I think we put the ad up in the first 24 hours. We had 45 people message. Like, people, I'll pay the deposit right now. Like, we're interviewing people, right, to find the right fit, and like literally 45 people. Like, it's insane. We had to take the ad down after day one.
Yeah, and it's not like that now.
Which is why you turned it into a grow up. So perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think for me, that's one thing that surprised me the most is how quickly the market shifted. Like, it was balanced for like overnight, and it was just like, like it just it flipped on its head, which is insane. And yeah, I think things like divorce rates I think are massive, and family dynamics and people moving and coming and going. It's just been people that have just driven that. So I saw this great quote the other day. All right, another quote. It said, "My wife shouldn't worry about me talking to another woman. She should worry about me talking to Steve on Facebook Marketplace about a 2003 Harley Davidson lowrider." I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but that's what maybe people selling Harleys. That's what's leading to divorces. I don't know.
How have you adapted your strategies with the changes that we've seen in 2024? Like, what have you had to adapt and do? Because I know team size was quite large, shrunk it back down. One strategy was getting back to the roots, right? The small core group of people, right? So what have you done, man?
Lean and mean is not something that I live by, but it's something I wish I did live by. Okay. My heart's bigger than my brain. Joe tells me that all the time. But lean and mean, if you're an entrepreneur, trim the fat where you can. Be lean, be mean, run a business that not only is going to do well in the good times, but if things shift on you 25, 30%, you're still viable and still able to run. Like, that's probably the good litmus test, and good lesson for me. Honestly, I ran a very high cost operation, still do to this day. Luckily, I've diversified so much that I've been able to ride through it. But if I didn't have that diversification, guys, I'd be gone. Being honest, just fully transparent with you, I wouldn't be here. The diversification, having that long-term plan, that was what has gotten us through that rough period. And the market, we had the biggest drop in like 25 years in the last year in our marketplace. Biggest drop in 25 years. And we came through it. But man, the diversification is the only thing that saved us. Otherwise, I would have had to slash like crazy. I would have had no choice. And it was still really painful. Believe me, it was really, really hard, like brutal.
So you technically came through lean and mean.
I wish I could tell you that we're lean and mean, but like we're definitely more lean than we were for sure, right? Luckily, we have diversification, which helps, but it's tough, man. There's a lot of pressure, and like I feel for entrepreneurs. I do, because I am one, like being that person that at the end of the day, you have to make the hard decisions, and it's really hard. Like, I am not built to be a CEO. I don't have that ruthless nature where I have to make hard decisions that affect people's lives fast enough. I wish I had that, but I don't. But man, like I feel for entrepreneurs, because like it's fucking lonely. Nobody cares about you when you're having your tough times. Nobody cares, right? Everybody wants to worry about their families, which I get. But you know, when you're the entrepreneur, you might have 20 families that you're worrying about, including your own. It's hard. It's really, really hard. I feel for entrepreneurs, and they have to make hard decisions, and those decisions do affect lives. But at the end of the day, you have no choice. Your job is to like keep companies viable and to move things forward. And it's like, fuck, this is why they get paid. They can earn a lot of money in the good times, because if there was no upside during the good times, I wouldn't be an entrepreneur. I'll tell you that right now. It's like you have to have some upside for the risk that you take. Right. And it can be a lonely place for sure. 100%. Yeah. You feel the pain sometimes, just like you guys feel the pain in your own households when you go through a recession. I feel that too. And it's hard. But on the flip side, I love being an entrepreneur too. The creativity and like the fact that it's the most accountable thing that you can have too. If your business isn't good, you're not going to be around. If you're not giving good service, you're not going to be around. And that's something else. Like the fact that we've weathered some really tough economic challenges with COVID and all the things that we've been through, and we continue to be a market leader. I'm really proud of the people we have.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So what are you focusing on for the rest of the year to boost the real estate business? Like what's the number one focus? I know what we're focusing on in terms of the coaching side.
Yep.
Right. We're trying to connect with more people that we haven't been able to help in the past by creating a solution.
Yep.
Right. That can really help people. And that's what we're here to do. Right. But in the real estate business, like what's the focus for the rest of the year to really boost it?
Yeah, good question. So with our ISA team, they're doing 4 hours on the dialer every day minimum. Mm-hmm. We've set their we've increased their contact expectations by 40% because we've created some efficiencies. We're using a lot more AI technology to help us with behind the scenes touches and lead nurture. That's been a really big thing that we're really focusing on right now, is really driving efficiencies there, and skill practice, really making sure that we continually keep our people sharp and focused, and understanding that because it's a skills-based market, we need to make sure we have the most skilled agents. And luckily for our agents, they get world-class training right from day one, which is why we don't have any part-time agents. Like our agents are able to sustain themselves and make a good living working and being part of our team.
Right.
But they get world-class training from the beginning. And people that start with us, they don't know any different.
Right.
But it's very common for us to have a first-year agent do 25 deals. We've had some do 48, 73, right? But it's very common for us to see agents do 25 deals their very first year on our team. Why? They get to learn, they have a system that they get to be a part of, and they get world-class training and support and mentorship. And it's not easy. Holy, right? It's not easy. There's a lot of energy that goes into onboarding an agent, bringing them up to speed, investing in them. And so, if you're building a business and you constantly have a revolving door, that's hard as entrepreneurs, right? So again, really think about your model. Think about where could you find some different efficiencies? How can you create some stability and security in an industry that lacks that? That'll help you with retention. Mm-hmm. It'll help you with your viability too, because you have more margin, right? If you're giving away 50% or you're giving away 70%, and then you're trying to build a business on 50 or 30, and then you have all your costs and everything else to acquire the business, it gets very, very lean pretty fast. Yeah. So I think there's just different ways that people can look at business. So we're looking, how can we streamline? How can we keep our expenses in line? How can we keep them, tighter where we can? How can we create revenues creatively in other areas too? Always open. I always try to run everything from the filter. How do I minimize the impact on people? I always try to do that. Always. So that's what I'm focusing on. Okay. How do we minimize impact on downside on people? And how do we create efficiencies, technology wise, and focus on the things we have control over, which is our activities, being more proactive as agents, and really delivering on our high performance method. If I get everybody doing that consistently, it never fails.
Yeah. It's true. And I mean, that kind of leads into our next question, but the high performance method, like any agents that aren't even on our team that have gone through our program, we've had students see the upside.
Huge.
We've had students go from 5 deals to 27 deals in their first year.
Yep.
Right.
Lots.
While working a full-time job. Right. Like we've had people that have had amazing success, but it really comes down to the individual. Yep. Right. Being able to show up, being able to come up with the right mindset, not overthinking every little thing. We actually witnessed this a couple weeks ago on week 1, right, Joe? Week 1, simple posts about pineapple on pizza. Like people were like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." It's like no one understood what the actual impact is. But like you can't just like have a limiting belief that like, "Oh, I'm scared to put this out there," because no one cares what you say. They care about how you make them feel, and that post gets people to start engaging.
Yeah. Right? Well, and the point of that post is not even about the post. Right? It's just about you putting blind faith into something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not about the post. Like, listen, you can change the post and do something completely different, right? Mm-hmm. pineapple on pizza. It's like, it's a soft, fun little topic that you can do out there. And so it's something to get people just to like start posting and start engaging. And like, it's really just to get them in the habit of not trying to be perfect. Right. See, too many people are like, I need to propose the perfect thing, or I need to say the perfect thing. And then they never do anything. The point of it is like, hey, have blind faith and just take action.
Don't overthink.
Remove the thinking and just trust. And when people trust the process and the things that we get them to do and they follow the method, it's amazing how quickly the results happen. Yeah. I mean, it happens very quickly for some people. Like within week 1, they're already adding deals to their pipeline. All of a sudden they're like, man, I'm busier than I've ever been. Yeah. Right. That's because they put blind faith into it. But then there's the people that always are like, oh, well, I'm going to find a reason why this won't work. Well, of course, if you have the mindset that something won't work, it's never going to work because you're literally going to sabotage it at every single point.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. When I see that post, like I coach to that post all the time and everybody always laughs. But for me, it's a barometer. It's a quick, simple, easy post that you can actually, because it's easy for somebody to scroll down and be like, oh, you're crazy, or agreed, or post a meme or whatever. But it's a barometer to see who the hell's paying attention to you. And that's why we tell people to keep it simple, get it posted. And if you post it and nobody says anything and you get crickets, that's because that will illustrate how quiet you've been on social media in the past. But then you finally know. But when you post it and you get a ton of engagement, you can say, okay, well, I'm actually working with something here. People are paying attention to me. Yep. So yeah, barometer. It's all about finding the barometer and putting blind faith into a process to test it.
Yep. Yeah. And I mean, some people really have this belief that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza.
I think it's great on pizza. It tastes amazing.
I love pineapple.
Go to a party. First pizza gone is usually the Hawaiian pizza.
I agree.
Yeah. Was that before or after you put the keys in the fishbowl? I know what kind of parties you go to. Man, for us, level-headed Italian Catholics. No, it does not. It doesn't.
Oh man,
mango, barbecue sauce, chicken. None of that belongs on pizza.
One of my favorite things that ever happened, I was sitting right there, was Scott Jennings sent a pineapple pizza here, and Joe went to the door just randomly to meet Chase, I think it was. And this guy's like, oh, I have a pizza here for Joe. And he's like, I didn't order a pizza. And he's like, well, it's for you. It's paid for. And Joe opens it. He's like, son of a bitch. And
it was gluten-free, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah. Did you eat it?
I had a bite, and there's like one picture of me eating it. I'm just like, just dead eyes, man. I didn't like it. It's the sweet, I don't know, man. It doesn't, I don't, no.
No. What's with that porn star mustache, too?
You know, I change up my look, man. You know, like every 3 weeks, I something different is going on. Yeah. I cannot stand looking the same every single day, so I got to change it up.
Yeah, my look's not changing for a while. I'm keeping this.
How does Jen feel about it?
Oh, she loves it.
She loves it.
Oh yeah, she likes it. Yeah. And then your look is changing.
Yeah, I know. I'm going balder. I get it.
Yeah, for sure. Your look is changing as well, man. I don't know if it's kind of a less distinct salt and pepper. So, looks good. It looks good. 9 out of 10 George Clooney's would approve, I'm sure, but that other one would be like, fuck, it's not even. So we're all changing. We're all getting old.
The salt and pepper, the more salt and pepper I have in my hair, the younger the people I hang out with are. It's weird.
Oh, God.
Oh, Jesus.
Sure. Well, this beard here, I'm going to keep growing it.
He's going to shave it. It's going to be white because he had it all summer.
I'm going to have to keep growing it. And once I get a deer, then I'll buck it off.
Yeah, but so is it? You shoot it.
I might have this thing for a couple of years. Who knows?
Shoot a deer. Shoot a deer or bow and arrow a deer.
The amount of times Ryan has gone hunting, which really just turned into a big hike.
I would like to try.
You know, Ryan. Basically, you should just call it what it is.
It's hike.
Hiking.
It's hiking.
You're out hiking.
You're not
hunting because there's very little that you ever bring back.
Taking my gun for a walk.
Yeah. How many animals have you killed with a bow and arrow, apart from that raccoon and that squirrel?
Man, I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress.
Ryan had 2 clear shots at a deer last year, right there, and he missed both.
Hey.
And he blames the deer. He said the deer ducked right when I shot.
It shucked when it should have jived.
I mean, come on, Ryan.
Right, okay, let's get back.
It's okay to admit that you're not quite that. You're not a hunter. Yeah, you're a hiker. You love hiking. Hey, that's great.
I'm more of a hunter and an alpha than you, bud. I go and get my own meat. I don't buy it at the grocery store.
He's more of a gatherer. He gathers the meat from the
Have you met Mrs. Zinger?
Yeah.
You are not the alpha in your own household.
Go
Ryan.
ask my kids.
Your wife
it goes
is the alpha.
Cade, then you. and then keep her.
You guys,
Ryan,
you
the
guys,
only pants you're wearing are the ones you're wearing right now because
Jay,
your
yeah.
wife wears the pants in
you're
your house.
smoking something
For sure.
You've been smoking
I've
something.
met your wife.
Okay, we're staying back on
She said
track.
she could arm wrestle Jason.
take
She
guesses.
came in
She
here and
thinks
was all
she
put
could
$100
beat
together.
me in weightlifting.
I think she might be able to.
Like
But
your wife
anyways,
thinks she's stronger than me. She literally, in her mind, thinks she's a dude. She's beautiful though. I
might
love
take you
Ashley.
down.
Ashley, you're
mean,
great. If you're listening, you're
she's
great.
pretty strong.
But she
You'd
definitely
be surprised.
definitely has some masculine energy to counteract your feminine energy. So it's nice. It's a good.
If she hears this, you're dead.
Yeah,
Let's
it's a good
just say
mix.
that.
No,
I love-
you're dead,
I
not
love-
us.
Yeah,
You're dead.
she's
Not
gonna
me.
take it out on you, not me.
It's not me.
She's gonna use a phone book
But she
later.
will try to tell me that I'm not the alpha. You're right. She will try to tell me that. But anyways, let's
Exactly.
stay back on track. Enough of my personal life here. I know we're having fun, but enough of my personal life. I didn't drink
Gender
enough
is a
to talk about
construct,
that.
Ryan.
So,
I can be whatever I want.
Ryan's
talked
masculinity
about
is a
this.
construct.
Yeah.
all right, back on track, you guys. So we talked
Masculinity's
about
not
this.
real.
Technology tools, right?
Yeah.
You've been using the same technology tool for a long time.
Yes.
Right. And I actually recently talked to Freddie and to Jamie,
Yep.
both client care department, right?
ISAs. We
Yep.
call them client care managers.
Client care
ISAs,
managers
yep.
because they're licensed, right?
Yep.
But they're super excited. Like
Yeah.
when I talk to these guys, like they are so excited, man. And
Dude,
they're fired up.
they've been on me for years, and I'm super loyal, and I love Real Geeks. I'm sorry, Real Geeks. Like, I'm not bashing your product. You had a great product, but they've been like, we got to try this Lofty. I'm telling you, that's so much better. The AI, some of the integrations, the CRM system, their dialer. Like, there's just a lot of things that they have, and we've got both running now. So we're gonna do a test. We're gonna be running Lofty alongside with our Real Geek site. And again, I love Real Geeks. I'm a big fan of them. I'm not putting them down. I'm not throwing them under the bus. They have helped us make millions. They've been a great responsive technology partner. But sometimes in business, you got to try some things. And, you know, we've sat on the sidelines and watched Lofty make changes, evolve, you know,
Right.
and we really think that this is a really great platform. And so we're excited to test it, and we'll keep you guys posted on how it's going. So far, though, the guys are super enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
They
I know
love
they're
it.
getting results already.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, this is amazing. You can track things. And I think they really like the dialer aspect, right?
Yeah, for
It's-
sure. The
it's-
efficiencies of not having to manually dial and how many more contacts you can get in a day.
And
is
then
huge.
notes on everyone. It's just so much more efficient.
Well, and the lead ranking that automatically happens and
I
the
heard
AI
about
that's
that,
built into it. There's a lot of really cool things that the system does.
Opt-out
efficiently.
language was also
Yeah.
a huge piece that I think Lofty had over Real Geeks. And if I could even go so far as to make the comparison, Lofty to Real Geeks was iPhone to Samsung for us. It was user friendly, a lot more intuitive, and I think that the client interfacing side, it's pretty, it's user friendly. The emails that it comes out with are freaking amazing. So
So
I mean,
we'll
change
keep you
is
posted.
good.
yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
change is good. So
Yeah, for sure. You got it.
And
So that's one of the
cool
things
new
we're doing
thing
too.
going on.
Yep.
Any other new technology tools that we're working with over there?
Those are probably the big ones. Those are the big ones. Don't want to make too many changes too. Sometimes people change for the sake of changing and it's disruptive. And, you know, this is why I'm slow to make certain changes like that. But this is the one that the guys have been on me for 2 years. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. This was the time.
I think too, like at the end of the day, you know, my next question was, what is the game plan around creating a stronger client relationship? And again, making the adjustment with this tool, I think is kind of just aligns with that question, right?
Yes.
It's
Dude, we
what
have
it's all
almost
about.
300 5-star reviews. You know,
Okay.
we have a lot of really, really good client reviews, which we're proud of because you know what? We've always prided ourselves in delivering world-class service and doing the right thing for our clients and really focusing on the long-term aspects of the relationship and making sure that we don't make any short-sighted decisions, that we guide our clients, that they get, you know, multiple people helping them in the transaction because then you have different specialists at every facet of it because it's impossible to be a jack of all trades and compete with specialists. You know, if you're pretty good at a lot of things, you're never going to be great at any one thing. So you'll never excel at any one thing.
Yeah.
I would rather be great at one thing than be okay at like 10 things.
Okay, that's interesting. So, right, but I think there's a
Ryan's a
lot
jack of all trades.
no, I have to be.
You got to be able to wrap a car roof. You got to be able to
gotta
install
be able to do
doors.
everything. I hang TVs when people aren't the alpha in their house and can't hang a TV, and they got to call a friend, and you know, there's all these things.
Did Ashley hang your TV?
No. But I hung Jason's.
Yeah.
Oh,
he
three
had
of them
3
to be
TVs. Yeah,
exact.
thank you, Ryan.
Wow.
Appreciate it.
So
Don't worry, I got something nice coming for you.
oh, that's nice of you. Is it a
Do you?
Hublot by
You'll
any
see.
chance?
You'll see. It's not a Hublot. No.
Damn it.
Yeah, no.
All right.
You might have to hang a few more TVs for that.
When you talk about like getting deep with one thing, this next question I had is like, how are you using social media to attract new clients?
Yeah.
Why don't we talk a bit about that, but also talk about that aspect of people that are out there that are selling like social media programs. So I do believe social media is a strong part of a real estate agent to get their face out there. Don't want to be a secret agent, but
Can I just tell you though, like most people are not going to make money from social media.
that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. People
So-
think that though.
So they
right?
think they're going to make, because it's like they want the easiest solution. But the reality is the people that are selling you social media packages weren't super successful at real estate to begin with in a lot of cases. So they're selling you a social media package, but they never excelled at real estate. Here's the thing. What we teach is we teach you how to be successful. Social media is one of the tools, but it's not what's going to run your whole business for you. We teach you how to make money in any market, any industry at any time. Now, becoming a great marketer is important, especially if you want to scale at mass in the future. Absolutely. But knowing how to be proactive, how to have the right conversations, how to have the right systems, that combined with some solid social media and branding is going to do exactly what you needed to. Our high performance method is literally built on exactly what I did to do 135 home sales my very first year in real estate. I believe that is a world record, and I'm not saying that to brag, but I don't know anybody that's done that many deals in their very first year in real estate. Okay. We took that, we've dissected it over 8.5 years to create this system that you can plug into and follow. And it is literally customized to help you achieve the results you want in your business. Follow that. There's going to be some social media tricks and things that will teach you, some branding things that will teach you. Absolutely. But more importantly, we're going to teach you how to lead generate, how to create opportunities. And like, you don't have to go spend a bunch of money to do it too. It's easy to generate leads. Honestly, if you have budget, you can generate thousands of leads if you want to. That's one way, but like we can teach you free ways to generate repeat and referral business and how to generate repeat clients and how to like literally work with the opportunities are right in front of you. There's so many opportunities in front of people that are listening right now. They're just not seeing them because they're not looking for them. Perfect analogy. If I said to you, Ryan, for every red car that you see today on the road, I'm going to give you $20. All you would see is red cars. They'd be everywhere. You would be like, oh my, there's so many red. You would think there's an abundance of red cars. You'd be like, there is so many more red cars on the road than anything else. And the reality of it is, there's no more red cars than there ever was. You were just never looking for them.
Okay, so what's the time frame? Is it like as soon as we leave the office till like 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
How many cars I can
Right.
see, and when do I get paid?
Right, exactly. But you get what I'm saying though. What you focus on, you see. So
Yeah, I
right
get it.
now, as you're sitting here, there's opportunities. There's as many opportunities as there's ever been. You're just not focused on them. You're not looking for them. And this is where like the universe will reward you once you get very clear on exactly what it is that you want and you focus on it. Then you'll start seeing it everywhere. It's just like when Joe was depressed, all he could see is that dark cloud because he was focusing on all the negative emotions. And so what did it do? Yeah. All he could see is all the negative emotions at that time, right? When I get into that headspace, same thing. But now that he's kind of flipped a switch and he's starting to focus on the positive things around him more and like putting a lot more focus on that, he's seeing more positive. Does that make sense? It's not like there was more bad days.
No, I get it. Like I've had the same thing happen here recently, right? Like a lot of things happen. We had to make a bunch of changes. It affected me negatively, right? And it did, like badly. And I think Joe can relate to it, right? And it affected me in my performance because I was so focused on like all the things that were actually things that were out of my control.
Yeah.
Basically, right? Whereas you flip the switch and you focus more on the positivity and try not to go down that spiral. And when a lot of people are on that spiral, it's easy to jump on that spiral and end up where you don't want to be. And that puts you in a non-productive state.
And I'm so glad that you had that breakthrough, right? At the end of the day, it's like what you focus on, you create more of. Mm-hmm. So you do have to really be aware that your thoughts control everything. Like your mind is just a computer and has no ability to decipher what's real and what's not. And so you have to be really selective of the words you use for yourself, how you talk about yourself. Believe it or not, just like your self-talk is going to like change your thought process to a point where you start believing that you are that person. You aren't anybody other than who you believe that you are. That's all we are. We'll always prove ourselves right too. That's the other thing with like how your mind is. if you're like, oh, I can't learn that way. Okay, well, you're never going to be able to learn that way. Oh, I'm not handy. Okay, well, you're never going to be handy. But if you reprogrammed him, like, I'm actually really handy, and like you started behaving and thinking that way, you would actually become more handy. So yeah, it's so insane how powerful our minds are and how little people have control of it. And if you learn how to control it, you can actually channel it to do so many amazing things in your life and be happier. Happiness is a choice.
So can we just rewind for 1 second? Just
What are you rewinding about?
social media.
Yeah.
I think that was the initial question.
Yeah.
And then we kind of, I don't know where we went on
Went
it.
on a
but
rant.
We went on a rant. So social media, here's how I see it. Social media is, for us, like we usually do about 45% is referral, 45% is active lead gen. So it's our Google and our Bing, it's our pay-per-click that's running, which leaves typically anywhere from 5 to 10% of our business that comes from other sources. Social media is actually our second lowest marketing pillar that we have. It truly is. It goes YouTube, then social media, then referral, and then our pay-per-clicks, or our Google and our Bing, our PPC, our internet leads. So it absolutely breaks my heart when I see people just dumping money into these social media campaigns. Because to me, social media, the definition is disruptive marketing. Really what you're doing is you're hanging a billboard and hoping somebody that's driving 1,000 miles an hour, white knuckling it on the freeway, is going to go, oh, wow, yeah, that's exactly what I needed. Versus actually owning a store and having people walk in and engage. So the higher intent leads absolutely are going to be from your pay-per-click as well as your referrals. They are not going to be from your social media. So those truly are the I'm just browsing. It is a massive uphill battle with people dumping money into those Facebook ads. The other thing that I see with Facebook or Instagram or any social media platform is a really well-balanced platform needs to follow the rule of thirds. 1/3 branding, 1/3 education, 1/3 entertainment. And so many people, so many agents, and it breaks my heart, have not clued into that. And they hire these companies to roll in and overtake and overhaul their social media platform. And all it is market stats, just sold, coming soon, price reduction, congrats to our clients. It's like rinse, lather, repeat. Rinse, lather, repeat. Well, what you're doing is you're actually turning people off because you're generating an element of white noise focused on 100% branding. Nobody cares about your market stats. They truly don't. It's branding. Nobody cares about the open house post. It's branding. Yep. What people care about is the narrative and the story behind the open house. The narrative and the story and your interpretation of the market stats. It's adding that element of context. But agents haven't clued into that, and they're dumping hundreds of thousands, millions and billions of dollars every single year to these companies so that they just basically just whitewash everybody's social media, which looks exactly like everybody else's, which nobody cares. You've basically shot yourself in the foot for marketing. You've shot yourself in the foot for branding. You're doing the same thing as everyone else. Stop putting money into social media. That should be your lowest marketing pillar. But it should be the one that keeps people advised about you as a human and how you make other people feel, how you are different.
It's so
That's
true.
my rant on social media. Sorry, boys.
It's shocking. I know a lot of people are like, what? Joe just said that? Listen, social media is an important part of your brand.
100%.
It is.
It is your brand.
It is important. But you have to understand what it's designed to do for most people is really just be that, right? It's a brand. It's a mind share play.
Yep.
But it's like, what are the other proactive reach out things that you're doing to monetize those opportunities? Your content video that only got 50 views, but like generated 2 new clients, that is an incredible piece of content. That is a video that is very, very viable, and it's a better video than the 2,000 views that you got on a video that didn't get a single engagement as far as anybody reaching out to you. So the other thing is people are always looking for like, I need to have thousands of subscribers and viewers for a video to be impactful. And the truth is like some of my most impactful videos have had 50 views, 76 views, 230 views. But they spoke directly to somebody that needed to hear that message. Then I was able to pull them in and be like, hey, I spoke specifically to their pain point or their need, and it made them reach out. So understand that it's not all about the views. It's not about all the smoke and mirrors.
Or the followers.
Right. It's really, are you putting out their quality content? Like we're not we don't have the biggest social media following.
What's one lesson that you've learned this year that's made a big impact? in either your personal life or your business life? More so your business life, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Oh boy. All right. You know what? This is something I've learned. Being nice all the time and trying to like always like put other people's needs before your own isn't always the best thing. Sometimes you do need to put your own needs ahead of other people. For example, like in the event of an emergency, you need to be able to put your mask on first before assisting other people. If you're not doing well, you can't show up for other people. So you have to take care of yourself first too. And I know it sounds crazy because like it sounds very selfish. And I've always had this belief that like, oh, don't be like that. You always got to put other people's needs first. Always put other people's needs first. But you got to take care of yourself, right? You got to look after you and you got to keep showing up for you before you can actually be there for somebody else. If you're not thriving in life, how can you help other people thrive? So make sure that you put on your mask prior to assisting other people in an event of emergency. Take care of yourself. You got to. You have to. As a mom, for example, moms are notorious for putting everybody else before themselves, right? They really do. They're very selfless. I love that about moms. But like, you have to take care of yourself first because then you can show up better for your kids, for your wife, for your friends, right? Fathers, always putting other people ahead of yourself. You always got to put your family, your kids, everybody. Like it's constantly all the time. But if you don't show up for you, nobody else is going to show up.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself.
Anyone that's really listening to this, they can identify themselves if they're doing these things, right? Number one, they're focusing just on their business.
Yep.
They're trying to focus on their family, and then they're doing the worst thing possible, and that's they're not focusing on themselves at all.
Yes.
Right? They're putting themselves last, and I love that analogy. I think you actually stole it from me, but that's okay. I use that all the time. When the mask drops down, who do you put it on? Yourself or the person beside you first, right? A mother would put it on the person beside them. Yeah. What? That's my analogy. I use that all the time.
You and I have been coaching to that since 2019.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
Oh,
I love when Ryan
but I appreciate
steals
that.
the stuff that he's learned from
Show
us.
me a
and then,
clip where that
dude,
actually
we've been using it for
We've
years.
been using it since 2019,
Yeah.
bro. But that's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
It's fine.
It's like you going, I call this breakfast. Well, man, everybody calls it breakfast.
It's called breakfast for a long time.
Wow. All right. Anyways, I love that.
Good.
You, your family.
Take care of yourself. Honestly, you have to show up for you because nobody else is going to show up for you. It's a tough reality, but like nobody's going to show up for you if you don't show up for yourself. And so you can be the most selfless person in the world, and that's such a beautiful thing. But don't forget to look out for yourself too. You have to show up. Joe, what about you?
What have I learned this year? I've learned patience, humility, right? Take a breath. This too shall pass. So just putting a lot of your emotions, feelings in check, focusing on a lot of the positive things that are happening. If you want to focus on something negative, then you'll find every single thing that's wrong in life. But if you want things to be sunshine and rainbows, well, then focus on the positivity. Surround yourself with other people who are focusing on the positivity. Don't get dragged into other people's shit. Focus on yourself, your inner happiness, and then reflect that. Look for that in the outside world.
Yep.
Things are okay. And if you look at everything that we go through in a day, in a month, in a year, we are 1/1,000,000th of a speck of dust floating in the universe. And here we are stressing about this. This too shall pass. Look for the positive. Look for the lesson. Look for the growth. And surround yourself with people who are doing exactly the same.
Love that.
That's what I have learned. Ryan, what about you, buddy?
Man, I've learned a lot this year, to be honest. I have learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about, just being different in my relationship, communication. I've learned a lot from you guys. There's a lot of people that I've surrounded myself around, to be honest with you, like people that, that make an impact in my life and that help me and help me move forward and help me be a better version of myself. And my wife's a big part of that, right? She, even though she is hard on me sometimes, right? She doesn't beat me, for anyone that's wondering.
Day's not over yet.
Yeah, day's not over yet. But I think for me, it's just all the little things that I've been improving on and self-growth, right? Like for me this year, that's the biggest thing. It's just
and dude, I've noticed it.
Yeah.
I've noticed it.
I appreciate you saying that. And I mean, I'm noticing it too, but I do agree with you. And like, you know, it's easy to go down that rabbit hole of negativity. Like it is easy, and there's a lot of things that can pull you in different directions. The people you surround yourself around can do that. And more importantly, if you're finding yourself in that cycle, right, the only way to break it is address it. Right. Have a conversation with the person, talk to the person that you're talking negative with about things, and just, you know, really say like, hey, we got to like focus.
Misery loves company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you want to go hang out at a water cooler in a shifting market in real estate and go talk to realtors there. If you want to be depressed and think everything's horrible, go hang out at a water cooler. You want to be successful, change the rooms, go hang out with people that are doing shit and making things happen, and they're doing something about it. Fight back. Don't just sit there and be a victim. Fight back.
Yeah.
Punch adversity in the face. That's your only option, is to fight back. If you sit there and become a victim, life's going to just swallow you up. And then you're going to pass away and look in the mirror one day and realize, damn, I am a shadow of what I could have been. Don't allow that for yourself. You're going to go through tough times. We've had to go through some tough times together, boys. It's not been easy, and it's been really hard. It's not easy for me to fucking make some of the decisions I've had to make. Trust me, it sucks. But at the end of the day, the only way that we can get ourselves out of it is to punch back and fight back and just focus on what do we have control over? How do we get ourselves out of it? Because if we can't overcome adversity together, then there's no staying power. Does that make sense? Same thing with a marriage. You got to be able to get through adversities and go through hard times together. And that's where you really can see the strength of a relationship. So I appreciate you guys a lot. You guys are like brothers to me. I would take bullets for you guys. I mean it. Paige like a sister to me. I'd take a bullet for her. You know, like I really genuinely mean that. You guys are like brothers. And I know that we've gone through some hard times. But fuck, we're right here, boys. Like at the end of the day, you guys are drinking some pretty decent, well, mid-level tequila.
I think it was left over from the Christmas party.
Yeah. You're drinking some mid-level tequila, but still at the end of the day, you know, you got beautiful families, you got nice homes, you can choose whatever you want to eat tonight. Like think about that. If you focus on what you do have versus what you don't have, you realize we have everything. So
let's put a pin in this thing. Our commitment. We're coming back every month.
Yeah.
So look for us. I talked about this at some of our skills training this morning. And we had people that were like, whoa, wait a minute. The podcast is back?
Are you coming back?
I don't know. I think I'm actually going to be handing the reins over to Ryan. No. So I'm going to be the producer. I'm going to be running the cameras.
Shut up, Joe. You're part of the show.
So it's been a slice, boys. But this is actually my retirement.
Joe
from
retires
podcast.
from every episode.
This is the second time.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
You know, for the record, I quit.
This is the second
I'm
time
just
that
retiring.
Joe's trying to quit.
I ended on a good note. I love you guys.
All right, later.
Cheers.
Later.